All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can take some calls. You want to get in? Let me make sure I got all that off here. Okay, yeah, he's gone, he's gone, he's gone. All right. And let's hop over here and see if we got any calls on the line. Yeah, all right. Hello, 410 area code.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Yeah, I was listening to your last caller, and that statistic that he gave, that 95% of those attempting to get into the country actually succeed in getting into the country.
Yes.
How in God's name would anybody know the total number of people who have attempted to get into the country? I mean,
I don't know. There are people that get
25. Well, let me just finish my question. There's plenty of time. Let's not run over each other. Okay. If 200 people tried to get in last night, and you caught, let's say you caught 10, how would you know the universe of the other 190 who are out there if you didn't catch them? See, you couldn't possibly know that, which means a statistic that purports to state that 95% of those trying to get into the country actually get into the country is not one you could possibly calculate unless you knew the universe of all those who try to get in. And since we don't know that, that statistic is bullshit.
okay. I appreciate that
I
input.
mean, as a matter of pure logic, it's bullshit.
You know,
Yeah,
people get paid a lot of people get paid a lot of money to sit around and come up with the statistics. I agree with you. I think it's probably. I agree. Hey, I agree with you. I said I agree with you. I appreciate your call and thanks for your input. You provided us with a lot of great, useful information. So thanks. Goodbye. All right. 918. Hello, darling. How are you?
Hi, Clay. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good, good. You know, I heard the other day about in New Mexico that there's a bunch of illegals that they got driver's licenses and use the address of a auto body shop or some other place, and they never did catch it in their DMV statistics office, but then they get a driver's license, then they get to register to vote, and they're illegals. And they got a bunches of them that, I mean, you know, hundreds that have done that. So somebody's advising them.
Of course.
To go to
in Mexico they put out booklets telling them how to get welfare, how to get all that, what to do. They come up here educated. They're putting all those packages together to tell them that. Here's how you get food stamps. Here, you know, be sure and drag these kids along.
Well, now, what is that? Do you know what New Mexico government is doing about that?
Probably not any more than Arizona or California or any of them. All of the governmental systems are so corrupt, and they know the president wants them up here. They know the Democrats want them up here because they're going to add to the votes. I mean, we've got Diebold, you know, fixing the votes.
Oh yeah.
We've had people that were actually there and counted the votes and know that they fudged on the numbers.
Yeah.
In I believe that was Illinois. So yeah, you know, it's a corrupt, and you know, look at, I mean, the whole system up here for rewards the illegals for coming up here.
I know it.
And you know, and they run buses to pick the illegals up and take them up to Arkansas to put them to work.
Huh. You know,
In chicken factories.
In President Eisenhower's administration, he had a buddy of his that graduated from West Point with him, and that took over the immigration and INS service, and they got a ship, and they would put illegals They would, when they arrested illegals, they'd put them on this ship in Brownsville, Texas, take them to Veracruz, Mexico, and drop them off. That's 500 miles south of the border. And in the 4 years of Eisenhower's administration, and while he was president, another 500,000 to 750,000 were estimated to go back across the border. What I thought was, well, Arizona could probably afford a ship and a couple of buses and bus them over to San Diego, get them on the ships, take them down to Puerto Penasco, or not Puerto Penasco, but Puerto Angel, which is near Guatemala, which is at least 500 miles south of the border. Now that would slow it down quite a bit, if they would do that.
Well, you know, I am advocating, I mean, it's interesting that William Gheen didn't want to talk about it, but the answer to our whole illegal problems, how are they paying for their trip up here? They're carrying drugs up here. They pay them they give them the money to come up here, bring the drugs up here. When they get up here, they sell it in their neighborhoods. You know, and they did kind of the same thing to the black communities in San Francisco during the Vietnam War. They flooded the communities with heroin. The Bush did the same thing with most Americans. I mean, he flooded the country with cocaine. You know, in my book, Mystery Babylon, you know, Colonel Edward P. Catolo went down there to build the radio towers to guide the airplanes into Albrook Air Force Base. My friend William Tyree, doing life in Walpole Prison, got put in there for because he was unloading the cocaine and watching the money change hands between the Mossad, Michael Harari from the Mossad, and I believe it was Howard Hunt from the CIA.
Huh.
So you know, the governments are in the drug business, and that's the show I just did yesterday with William Cooper. I mean, he was in there. He saw the top secret documents. We are the CIA, are the drug cartels. The Mossad is the drug cartels, and whether they're CIA, Mossad, or KGB, or DHS, DHS, same thing as KGB. It's just different initials.
Yeah. That's and the reason they went after the Branch Davidians in Waco was that its property is right next door to an abandoned airstrip, and after the media got all over Mena, Arkansas, and that bunch, they moved the operation over to that airstrip, and a couple of the Branch Davidians had hacked into the government computers and found out what they were doing, and had tape recorded, or had discs, CDs, with the recordings of their radio transmissions, and knew they were running drugs and human trafficking, and that's why they went into Waco.
I'm sure there's something
that was to get those discs.
It's
you know.
It's like Bill Cooper said. You think they spent the millions of dollars to go in and kill those people because they didn't have a license for an automatic weapon? Which
they didn't have anyway.
Which they didn't have.
No, they didn't spend it for that. They spent it to shut them up and to get that disc, get the evidence against them. See, that's why they went in there, and they didn't tell them.
Well, it was also a psychological operation against the American people. See, first of all, it was a self-sufficient family farm, and they're scared to death of that. They're scared to death of that. People working and living together, they're scared of that. They want you in that box, in that house, stuck before the tube.
Want you isolated.
They want you, well, it is. I mean, the internet is, I've always told people, it's a double-edged tool. And it's with it, they can track you, they can process your credit cards, they know where you go, they can track you on GPS, they can do all that. But we've got the ability to communicate just like we're communicating right now.
That's true.
And the psychological movement here on this war on drugs. If we abolished all the laws against victimless crimes, and this is what my next novel is about that I started 40 years ago. I imagined a society where you can walk down the street, smoke a joint, you know, if you're walking, you know, you could all laws against victimless crimes abolished. So you're not putting we put 50 million people in jail for smoking a joint.
Yeah, yeah, and guess what? On the hemp thing, what William Cooper said was there was a tax on having hemp, and if they paid the tax, they could have it. And so they're not saying anything about you didn't pay the tax, therefore you can't have it.
Well, they don't tell, just like Louis Ewing said on my show. You know, there's no law against an end user. If you read the law carefully, if you've got pot for distribution, then you're violating the law. You didn't pay your tax and all that.
Yeah, that's what they charge people with, assuming they have an intent to distribute. And you see, that's not necessarily so. But I thought it interesting that if they paid the tax, then that would need to be researched to see if that law is still on the books.
Well, they don't care. There ain't no law against. There ain't no law that says you got to pay income tax, but they don't care and they still enforce it. I've told people ask me, well, was Irwin Schiff and Lynn Meredith right? Yeah, they could have been right on everything they said, but it's a little like going up to Al Capone and going, hey Al, I've learned that extortion is not legal and I'm not paying you no more. You know,
yeah.
After you get out of the hospital, you pay them. You know, that's what the income tax is. And again, that's a victimless crimes. That's a whole victimless crimes thing. The income tax and the drugs. You know, you didn't pay this. You violated this ordinance. You violated this ordinance. You know, you can't have a windmill on your house in this neighborhood. Bullshit. This is a police state. This is exactly what they've created, and it's crafted. You know, it's not an accident here, folks. They have crafted this perfectly. I said, you know, if they were just stupid, occasionally they'd make a mistake in our favor. They have crafted this perfectly. Everything is working perfectly according to their one world global government of the bankers, by the bankers, for the bankers plan. Everything's working perfectly. And you're simply the serf. You're the farmer there that the troops are going to ride across. Why did we bomb the farmers in Vietnam, for God's sakes?
Yeah. Well, you know, this is I found something interesting on Strauss-Kahn. When he came over here, he came to get the gold, payment in gold that the U.S. was supposed to pay the monetary fund, and they didn't have it. So then there was this other thing to cover up and to discredit him. You know, the maid in the hotel and so on.
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of things. Why did Noriega go to jail? You know, the CIA was running that. We invaded Panama to get all the paperwork that linked him with Bush. That's why.
Yeah. And you know, Jonestown down in Guyana?
Yes.
That was a massacre. It wasn't mass suicide. Those people thought they were taking communion. And they were poisoned.
Yes. Yeah.
And
then they twisted. All right, hang on. Stay with me, Ann. Let me bring up another caller. I'll keep you on, though.
Okay.
Hello, who do we have from 310? Again. Hello, 310. You got something to say? I guess not. Nope.
I guess not.
Okay. Good. Glad I kept you on. Did you get the email I sent out?
No, I haven't. My computer crashed, and I don't have web access, so I have to go to the library.
Okay. Well, anyway, I got an email out now. It should be linked on my site there. After the show, you might check that out. I talk about the next book I'm working on. I've told people I'm just writing science fiction now, but the fiction I'm writing about could have occurred thousands of years ago and could provide answers for things that are happening now. And the future I wrote about is pretty appealing future also.
Hmm.
And I hopefully, and we're still making the moves. We're setting up to reach more and more people. But I talk about a world in which marijuana, hemp, is legal, and we produce it, and we become a strong, independent country again. You know, whether that can happen or not, it could only happen here in the United States, folks. The rest of the world has been taken over. It cracks me up when people want to leave the U.S. Well, I'm David Von Kleist, for instance. David Rodell, David Von Kleist, who was with Joyce Riley for quite some time. Yeah, he went to Argentina. Now, Argentina just pulled out of one of these crashes, engineered global crashes. They just pulled out of that. And, folks, if you want to call in, 646-915-8774. I'll be taking calls for another 10 minutes or so. And they don't call it the New World Order for nothing. We are financing the whole New World Order thing. The United States taxpayer is paying for our own demise. We are supporting 150 countries. We are sending foreign aid. That's your money, folks. We're sending your money to 150 nations, including Red China and Russia and all the other communist countries out there, communist-controlled countries that are in on this global banking system. We're supporting it. We're supporting it. Now, but anybody that tried to speak out against that, they demonized the man. You're an isolationist, you know. And then it was anti-government, and then it was racist, and then it was anti-Semite.
I got a suggestion. Let's see, with Russia and Mexico and China are three of the biggest predators of the U.S., and they also receive foreign aid. What I would like to suggest is the government take half of the foreign aid and pay down on the debt. And if those countries don't want to accept it that way, tell them, well, we'll just take a whole amount of the foreign aid and put it on our debt to you. And then
this debt, wait a minute, the whole idea of us being in debt is this is a falsehood. This whole banking scam, fractional banking scam, you know, Federal Reserve, Central Bank, that's number 5 on the plank, on the Communist Manifesto. We don't need to pay off a debt. We need to stop the thieves from robbing us. That's it. Stop it right now. Stop it right now. Cut off.
They buy securities. They buy bonds and securities from the government. And when those things come due and we can't pay them, then we owe a debt.
Okay. The government could issue our money as easily as they can issue bonds. And they don't have to charge usury on it.
Yeah.
They don't have to. I mean, this is a plan. This is a New World Order plan for one world government of the banksters, by the banksters, and for the banksters. And if you resist that, then you're one of the terrorists. You become one of the potential terrorists because you're not willing to go along with slavery. And I will always be, I'll always be an outlaw because I'm not going to bow my knee and be enslaved by anybody other than what I've already agreed to on the Social Security and that kind of thing. You know? Well, we paid into that. We paid into that, so we got the right for that. Yeah. But we don't need to be giving it to illegals, and we need to stop that.
Yes, that's true. True enough. And by the way, you know, on those so-called debates on the Republican candidates,
yes,
they were not debating. Those were not debates. They were sniping at each other. It's a dirty shame. They weren't debating at all.
Well, that's it. That's what's happened to the whole Patriot movement. Everybody's finding something wrong. Oh, Clay did this. Clay said that. So-and-so said that. You know, Alex Jones is married to a Jew. You know, look, everybody does good work. You don't have to agree with everything everybody says. You know, there are things that I've done and that I do that you probably wouldn't do. You know, you wouldn't get on a motorcycle, ride it 500 miles. You know, I will. Heartbeat. You know, a lot of we do things differently. You know.
Yeah.
So you know, that's the diversity. You know, I don't want to live in a pack of lemmings. You know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to live in our cattle herd. I don't want to, you know, I want to be an individual, and I want to have my own thoughts. And you know, I tell everybody, don't believe a thing I say. Check it out for yourself.
Yeah. That's a good admonition.
But I appreciate you listening, and I'll just put you on hold here, Ann. Thank you so much.
Okay, doke.
All right, folks. Now let's see. Who do I have from the 919? Is this you, Doc? Okay, I'll let you listen. Okay, where are we at here? Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I got about 7 minutes left, so I'm going to bring up. Let's see who I can bring up impromptu. Who can I bring up impromptu? Hello, David.
I thought you might give me a call.
See-
How did I get that thought communication?
See what happens when you start reading books about, you know, mental telepathy and all that.
Yeah, when you start to think about it, you start to become it. Well, that's why I enjoy your show so much, Clayton, because you make me think in areas that I don't even think about. I haven't even considered yet, and I have no knowledge of. So I think we're all like that. We need each other to open each of our heads up a little bit more than they are.
Well, that's why I try to have a wide variety of people up. You know, I've got for this next week, just for example, yeah, I posted some of the last few articles that I've done, and see, where are we here?
Well, you've got the most variety of guests, and they talk about the most widely of subjects, and it's international every day, because there's always somebody on who's going to talk about something new that really does matter.
Yeah, well, just to give you an example, you know, William Gheen was my guest today. Gordon Duff, the Veterans Today editor, is coming up on Thursday. Bob Chapman will be here Friday. Jack Foot from the Arizona State Defense Force will be here Monday. And Tuesday, I've got a spiritual medium and counselor coming on. Her name's Misa, who says my articles on the Atlantis and the past and the future aren't very far off. On Wednesday, February 8th, I'll have Skip Baker on. He's a great artist that has pretty strong opinions about the trolls we call Jews. And Thursday, I've got somebody else who talks about the precursors to the protocols of Zion, Dr. Harold Rome, coming on my show.
It sounds like a week full of experts. I'm going to be listening for sure every day.
Yeah, and then the week after that, I've got J.B. Campbell coming on from J.B. Campbell Extremism Online. I want to be an extremist, you know.
So I've been on the chat board today, and I've been listening to some of the negatives there, and I understand their feelings, and I understand your hopelessness, but I'll tell you all, Clay Douglas has been making it happen for 25 years, and there's more and more of us catching on every day, and I'm sold and I'm ready. So all of us need to stand up and make a stand and make it happen. That's all it takes.
You know, we do need to get, I mean, look, we can't do everything. I just had two gentlemen drive down from Phoenix to meet with me yesterday. Now they're in the business of building websites. This is what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, I got a great thing here. It needs a little help. It's too big. It's too long. It needs to be done this. This needs to be done to it. It needs this. It needs that. And I said, exactly, boys. And everybody rises to their own level of incompetence. Mine might be the internet. I've been publishing magazines for so many years, writing books for so many years. That comes natural to me. You know, and I maintain this website every day, folks. It's updating every day. You'll be able to hear William Gheen on my show on the first half hour of this show. You'll be able to hear him. Great guy. And we're talking about people. I mean, William Gheen is an important person. They're working and presenting the constitutional view of immigration. And I sure appreciate it. And I mean, the people I bring on my show are just trying to give you accurate information, and they ain't communists, and they don't work for the bankers, and they're working for you, the American people. I mean, this is who we're working for. It's not a matter of being racist, because what's important here is our freedom. Your you know, and if they're taking some of my freedom away by passing some of these laws, it's just it's just a matter of time before they get down to you. I mean, you want to stay below the radar? Well, they can find you below the radar too.
Exactly. Well, most people in this country have been, I hate to say it, clueless in their voting every 4 years for the president, because all the presidents have been bought and paid for by our elites in the last, at least my lifetime, 50 years, and before that even. So, you know, our public, even clueless as they are just now waking up, Clayton, and they're hearing your words going out over the internet, and they're going to be seeing more and more of this every day as they check their...
All right. We're out of time here, folks. I need you to make a donation, order a book. You know, order some books here. We got them for sale. We're going to be hitting them on the internet, and we're going to be promoting them on Amazon.com. We're going to be doing a lot of things up in the future. But today, I need a little bit of help. Today, I need a little bit of your backing. Go to freeamerican.com, make a donation. David, thank you for being with me. And I sure appreciate it, buddy.
What's really going on in the world that mainstream media won't tell you. At Truth Radio, you can listen live or listen to a large selection of archived programs. TruthRadio.com. The truth is out there.
In the Hollywood...